Welcome to my study today. I'll show you a graphic which will help you plan an essay in English. Also a marker ladder which will really help you through the paragraphs and, more importantly, help the examiner see exactly what you're trying to say. And at the end we'll have some synonyms. So let's get started. Here is an illustration of an essay structure in English. It is only an illustration, so please don't draw this in the exam. You won't get any marks for it. First we have the introduction, the engine of the essay. In the introduction we put the background statement and the thesis. Now I'll do a separate video on these to explain because it's very, very important. In paragraph 1 we can have our focused ideas. In paragraph 2 we can support the ideas with examples, and sometimes some people are able to write a third paragraph, but it's not always a good idea if you think you can't manage it. But if you can, then you can put some more developed ideas into it. And of course we finish with the conclusion, to sum up what we've said and to tell the examiner what we've been speaking about. Here you will find phrases like to conclude and in conclusion. One thing to notice, there are spaces between the paragraphs. That's very important so the examiner can read your comments easily. And we oughtn't to forget that in the introduction, which is so important, we can paraphrase the question. Paraphrase just means write the question in your own words. But we'll look at that in a separate video. Now let's move on to the marker ladder. Here is the marker ladder. This runs right through your essay from the introduction through to the conclusion. Now how can you use it? Well, the introduction is where you tell the examiner what you're going to say. You have to imagine he has not read the question. Of course he has read the question, but you imagine you are telling the story for the first time. These are the points that we found from the fishbone diagram in the last video. I'll put a link to that below if you missed it. And we're going to use those points to write our essay. In the first paragraph, the introduction, we will paraphrase the question and we will put the background statement and our thesis. And now we'll do a separate video on that because it really does want looking at carefully. Then, as we progress along the ladder, paragraph 1 will have words like, for example, because, in addition, equally, moreover, in most cases. Now these are to help you work through the sentences, but at the same time the examiner is looking for these words because it helps him pick his way through what you are writing. Don't miss out on this structure. Here are some more markers. You could say, for example, alternatively, instead of driving petrol cars, we could change to electric cars. Choose the ones that you like, the ones you're comfortable with, because there are a lot more markers than the ones I'm showing you. If you can get to paragraph 4, or in fact if you can include this in paragraph 3, you can put some complex sentences which will get you more marks. For example, an inverted sentence like not only but also is very useful. You only need to use one as long as you understand how to make the structure, and I'll make a video on that at a later date. And then we come to the conclusion where you're going to say, in conclusion, I think, or this is my idea, depending on what the question has asked you. But it's a summary of your essay to say what you have said. Sketch a ladder on a piece of paper and add some markers that you like. Try to remember them and carry it in your head into the exam to help you build the structure of your essay. Remember, not only are you planning carefully, but you're helping the examiner to read through your material more easily. If you keep the examiner happy, you will get more marks. So now let's move on to the synonyms. I have chosen the word environment, which is a noun, and we can substitute it with surroundings, conditions, habitat, atmosphere, scene and background. It's always a good idea to use these different words if you can, rather than repeating the same word. Next time we shall look closely at the introduction, how to paraphrase the question, the background and thesis. So thank you for watching, and I really must say goodbye. Bye!